So after we do our hypothesis testing, we're wanting to figure out the outcomes, be able to make a decision and evaluate whether or not we made the right decision on this. Okay? And so that's what I want to look at on this next video. Okay? So there's two decisions that we can have. We can either not reject H naught. Notice I didn't say accept. We never say accept in my math class. Or we can reject H naught. So this is going to be a really good chart to have somewhere. I've actually, you guys can't see it, but I've actually got it on my sideboard to try to keep this straight because I get them backwards all the time. So have this chart somewhere where we can look through it. Okay? And so I am not the best at describing this as to what's going on. So I'm going to show you a video here in just a minute. I'm going to have you pause and watch a different video. And they're going to be talking about the probability of type 1 and type 2 errors. Okay? Type 1 error is going to be the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when the null hypothesis is actually true. We don't want that to happen. All right? I don't want to say something is not true when it actually is. And then type 2 error is going to be the probability of not rejecting H naught when the null hypothesis is actually false. There's big consequences in statistics whenever this happens. And so this video right here will help you see the difference in it. So go ahead and, pause this video, and I want you to go out and watch this. This video is embedded either in your notes or it is in your Google Classroom. So hit pause, go watch this short video. I hope that helps some. I know it helps me to watch that every year to kind of figure out which one goes where. Okay, so let's just do 3 examples again. We're going to have another short video today, and then you'll be able to go out and hopefully do some of these on your own. And so my null hypothesis in this case is going to be Frank's rock climbing equipment is safe. Okay. I want to, in words, describe what type 1 error is. Definitely seen this on the statistics final before that CMO gives. So in words, describing what the type 1 error would be. Type 1 error is going to be whenever I reject H naught. So I'm going to say that his equipment is not safe. So I conclude his equipment is not safe. That's an error. That's why it's called an error, is because I'm wrong, but it actually is. Okay? So poor Frank, I told him, hey, you cannot go rock climbing because your equipment's not safe, but really it was. I feel bad. I made an error, okay? So my bad, Frank. I'll try to do right next time. All right? Now, type 2 error is going to be if I accept H naught. All right? And so if I accept H naught, I'm saying that it says accept H naught, doesn't it? Oh, we don't want to say accept H naught. We do not reject H naught. And so I want to say that his rock climbing equipment is going to be safe. Okay? So his rock climbing equipment is safe. I'm saying, hey, Frank, I did all the testing. Go ahead. Your rock climbing equipment is safe, but actually it is not. All right. So pretty bad error on my part right there. Type 2 error is going to be a lot more harmful for Frank if I say, hey, go ahead, your rock climbing equipment looks good, and then unfortunately, hopefully he's not very high on a rock and he falls down. Now, in the video, it also talked about alpha and beta. And alpha is just going to simply be the probability of making a type 1 error. And so part of your homework might ask you to go ahead and state this. I'm going to put that in red right here. Probability of making type 1 error. So that would just be the probability of, well, everything that I put right here in red. Okay. And so the probability of this. I'm not going to rewrite all that. Okay. Whereas my beta is just going to be the probability I make a type 2 error. Okay, probably I make a type 2 error would just be the probability that I unfortunately told Frank that his equipment's safe, but actually it is not. Okay, and that would be my beta in this case. Let's do another one. Okay, so the null hypothesis this time is the victim the victim of an automobile accident is alive when he arrives at the hospital. It's a good thing to have. Okay, so type 1 error. Remember, type 1 error, I rejected H naught, but it was actually true. So I'm rejecting what it's telling me right here. So I'm not going to throw this on me. We'll say the emergency people, emergency personnel, emergency, what do you call those? Responders. We'll just call them responders. I can spell responders. Responders conclude that he's not alive. Conclude victim is dead. But remember, this is an error, so they're actually wrong in that. Responders conclude victim is dead, but he is actually, fill in this word actually in there. I guess it's a good word to have in here, a lot. That's not good. I don't want to be in an automobile crash and then they say, oh, well, you know what, he's dead, but I'm really alive in there. So we don't like type 1 error on this. We've got to be super careful with it. Type 2 error, I'm going to not reject H naught. All right, I'm going to say that the victim is alive. So again, I'm going to put this on the responders instead of me. Makes it sound better. So the responders conclude that the victim is alive, but is actually deceased. Okay. So that one's not nearly as bad of an error. So suppose the victim was in a bad car accident and died on impact right there. I would want the responders to still think he's alive and try to save his life, but they're actually too late on it. Okay, so not nearly as bad of an error on there. And so we're talking about these probabilities down here. Again, I'm not going to write these out. All right. So alpha is just going to be the probability of making a type 1 error. So it's going to be the probability of everything that I wrote up here with my black ink. Whereas my beta is just simply the probability of me making a type 2 error. So that's going to be the probability that the responders conclude the victim is alive, but is actually dead. And we're going to be playing with those probabilities later in a video. It's going to help me make my decision and hopefully reduce, if not minimize, the idea of me making a type 1 or type 2 error. I'll be able to describe that better in a later video. Right now, I just want you to get used to this wording and get used to being able, what it means to make the different decisions on the outcomes, okay? So you give this one a go. Don't worry about the alpha and beta on this one, okay? I'm going to let you write this one out, and I'm going to write it out. We'll come back, and we'll see if we wrote out the same thing. My record button keeps hiding from me. So here we go. Go ahead and hit pause, and then we'll meet back up. And there's what I got. If you got something different, put a star by this. Let me know during the Q&A. Like I said, this isn't my forte as far as looking at the difference between the two. I can explain it when it's in front of me, but coming up with this, just remembering it, does take some practice. So go back, watch these videos again, hash this out in the homework, and I will see you guys next time.